We got quite a bit of rain in the last couple of weeks, and as a result, we've had many tree failures. There's been a lot of trees that are suffering from long-term drought stress, and we had a pretty good wind come through, so I've been looking at lots of trees that have fallen down. So, you know, I try to break it up a bit on my channel. I try to give you a diversity of different tree-related topics, and sometimes woodworking, which is still about the trees, you know, the wood, the stuff that I get from the trees, and make stuff with it. But once in a while I like to talk about mushrooms. So I did find, as a result of the recent rains, I did find some pretty amazing edible mushrooms. So I need to make a little disclaimer here. Searching for wild mushrooms can be dangerous. If you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not absolutely sure, please don't eat a mushroom that you find. I understand what I'm looking for, and I understand, and I've studied, and I totally know these certain mushrooms, but there's a big however. Some people can have an allergic reaction to different types of wild mushrooms. A few years ago, we served up some honey mushrooms, and everyone in the family ate them except for one member of the family got so sick he was just throwing up and in terrible shape. As a result, he had an allergy to this particular mushroom. So while hunting wild mushrooms is both fun and can give you some really good food, understand what you're doing. Don't go at it haphazard. So let's go check out some wild mushrooms. So I was driving down the road, Highway 9, and I spotted this alder tree. It's a dead alder. I saw it last year, and it's hanging over the road. It's on the verge of failing. So I took a hike. I went down to the creek. There's a lot more water in the creek since it started raining, and I spotted this. These are oyster mushrooms. These are one of my favorites. They're really delicious. They're relatively easy to identify, but once again, if you don't know, don't eat them. I feel comfortable. I know what I'm doing. I really know how to recognize these, and I see the value in them. So this log, this trunk up in the air, is completely riddled with these fungus organisms that are causing this thing to get ready to self-destruct. And when it does, it's going to fall on the road. These are a little bit older oyster mushrooms. I wanted to show you that. Once they turn yellow, they get kind of leathery and hard. But when they're fresh, like this one, they're very white and a little bit of a tan color. There's different types of oyster mushrooms as well. So I harvested 10 pounds and we cooked them up. My wife made a spinach and lamb and oyster mushroom dinner. And then the very next day, I spotted this on one of my clients' trees. This is yet another type of tree mushroom. It's called, common name, the lion's mane. And the lion's mane is one of my favorites. This is the largest one I have ever found. I typically only find one of these every year or two. And when I was driving by this client's house, I saw this and oh my God, I had to grab it. I cannot believe how fresh this was. It just popped up right after this first rain. So we cooked it up for dinner last night, and it was absolutely delicious. And I gotta say, it tastes just like lobster. Dip it in butter. Oh, it is so good.